What's up, family? Man, I bless each and every one of you. May God continue to guide you, keep you, comfort you, and aid you in your growth and development, as well as the healing stages of your life. Family, we have to grow up emotionally. Man, it's hard to believe that, man, it's almost 2025. You know what I mean? Another 11, 12 days, it'll be a brand new year. And as I sit back and reflecting, I'm amazed and I'm tripping out on, man, all the things that's transpired over the last 11 and a half months. You know what I mean? The year didn't work out the way I'd hoped it did. Everything didn't unfold the way I wanted it to. But when I sit back now and I'm in reflecting time, you know, this season of reflection, I'm sitting back and I'm just watching how everything unfolded. I'm just looking back with hindsight. I'm looking back with more understanding now. I'm looking back with more wisdom now. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at all the things I've gone through throughout this year. And I'm able to see all the disappointments that I had and all the things that didn't work out for me at that time like I thought it was for me, you know what I mean? And I sit back now and I'm like, oh man, I'm glad that didn't work out the way I wanted it to at that time. Man, I'm glad that I didn't get caught up in that mess right there. You know what I mean? I'm glad I didn't get hooked up with that right there. I'm glad I got delayed over here. I'm glad this door got shut over here. I'm glad. And you're able to sit back. It's like, okay, hold on. Woosah. Let me look back over this year. Let me look at where I'm at, as opposed to how I came into this year. And so as I'm sitting back now, I'm just so full of joy, so full of peace, and just like, oh God, thank you. Thank you, God, for working everything out. Thank you, God, for not giving me what I wanted all the time. Thank you, God, for me not doing this and doing that when I wanted to go there. And now I'm able to understand why I couldn't go there. Now I'm able to understand why I had to be over here. Now I'm able to sit back and see what I couldn't see then. And so often we need to take time out and reflect on where we came. We need to take time out and just sit back in gratitude. Sincere gratitude, and just like, oh God, I thank you. God, man, I wanted to hook up with that person. Whoo, man, I'm glad that didn't work out. You know what I mean? Man, I didn't need that drama. I didn't need that bullshit or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Man, I wanted to get hired over here. I wanted to get this and that. And we wanted all these things. We had all these expectations, all these plans that didn't quite work the way we wanted. And some of us, we get so frustrated. Life is never working out the way I wanted. And I'm so pissed off and frustrated and mad and and all this other stupid ass shit. And we never sit back and think. We never sit back and just sit here and be like, all right, God, why did you shut that door over there? I'm not mad that you should. I'm just curious. I'm just wanting to understand. I understand that everything's always working out for my good. And that doesn't always seem like it. You know what I mean? It doesn't always seem like things are working out. When I had all these plans, I wanted this and this and this. And when that shit didn't happen, it didn't seem like shit was working out for me. It didn't seem like God had my best interest at heart. It didn't seem like God was working with me on some shit. It looked as though God was like, nah, motherfucker, I ain't giving you shit. Nah, motherfucker, you can't have this. I don't want you to be happy. I don't want you to have any peace. I don't want you to have any joy. And that's how it looks sometimes when we're going through things and things ain't unfolding the way we hoped they did. But we got to grow up emotionally. We got to stop acting like spoiled ass little fucking kids throwing tantrum tantrums. And so what I've had to do, and what God has showed me, is Elijah, you got to take time out. And you got to sit there in your solitude. Sit there and just thank me. Sit there and just sit here at peace and joy. Understand, you didn't always have peace and joy. You didn't always have a place to stay. You didn't always have a nice, comfortable chair. You didn't always have a nice bed and rooms of your own. You didn't always have this and have that. You didn't always have the food that you have. You didn't always have a freezer full of food and da-da-da-da. You didn't always have enough money. But now look at you. Look at where I brought you from. And we don't know how to sit there sometimes and and just be grateful. We don't know how just to sit there and just, and just say, okay, you know what? It didn't happen the way I hoped it happened. It didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. But yet, here I am. Here I am. For whatever's happened, I'm grateful. For whatever's happened, I'm full of gratitude. For whatever's happened, I have complete peace with it. And we have to be sincere about that shit. So many of us, we sit back and say, man, next year is going to be my year. And next year is not going to be your year if you can't be grateful for the shit and how things have worked for you in this year. We got to grow the fuck up and understand that. You can look all over social media and everybody's always looking towards next year. Next year's my year, next year. And it's like, no, motherfucker, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but next year's not going to be your year either. Next year, you're not going to just blow up either. Next year, you're not going to have peace and joy either. Why? Because you ain't got peace and joy now, and you ain't willing to put in the motherfucking work to get it. You're not willing to sit there and be grateful for what you have. I mean, if you're not willing to be grateful for where you've come from and what you have, you're not going to be grateful with next year either. Because next year is just going to be like this year. I know we don't want to hear that. We don't want to think about that. Because this year, I didn't get what the fuck I wanted. This year, the doors didn't open the way I wanted them to. This year, my money didn't flow the way I wanted to. This year, I didn't find my boo. This year, I didn't find my king. This year, I didn't find my queen. No, odds are, you're not going to find them next year either. Because you haven't learned the lesson. You haven't learned the lessons. And so you keep going through year after year of frustration after frustration, after heartache after heartache, after loneliness, year upon year upon year. And before you know it, it's been 10 years. Before you know it, it's been 15 years, 20 years of you going through the exact same fucking shit year after fucking year after year. Why? Because you refuse to grow the fuck up and put in the fucking work to learn the fucking lessons from what God is trying to teach you. We don't want to hear that shit though. We don't like having these type of conversations. We just want to manifest shit and just, boom, it just happened. And I ain't got to do shit for it. I could just name it and claim it and blab it and grab it, and it just magically appears. But that's not how life works. That's not how God works. You got to be willing to put in the motherfucking work. You got to be willing to sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and learn to just reflect and understand, okay, man, I went through this season. What was the lesson for this season? What was the reason for this season? You ain't grew up none. You ain't understood that. And so you keep having the same fucking seasons over and over and over and over. Because you've never sat the fuck down to understand the reason. You just thought it was something superficial. You just thought it was something temporary. Because somebody put you through some situation or because somebody did something to you. That's why you got to go through this. But you never really dove deep. You never really got connected with God, source, universe, the Most High, and dove deep into the subconscious thoughts and fears and insecurities of your mind to understand, okay, what the fuck is really going on? What the fuck is the real reason why I'm here? Why do I keep picking raggedy ass women like this? Why do I keep picking these same type of dudes that really don't give a fuck about me? Why do I keep picking these dead end jobs that make me feel unfulfilled? Why do I keep trusting people who keep breaking my heart and just putting all my business out there? Because we won't grow the fuck up. And understand, man, there's a reason for the season. Whatever the season is, there's a reason for it. And it's not because it's somebody else's fault. It's not because somebody's putting some spells and voodoo and hoodoo and hexes on you and all this other bullshit. Nah, the reason for this season is so you can sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and humble yourself and get in alignment with source and get on the right frequency and the right vibration to understand, okay, this is why I'm going through da-da-da-da. This is why I feel like this. We got to grow the fuck up emotionally. And that's not always easy to do. Man, we're going into a new year. My hope and prayer is that before this new year gets here, you begin the practice of diving deep. You begin the practice of getting rid of all your bullshit religion. You begin the practice of getting rid of all your fucking distractions and getting connected to source. Getting connected to God and understanding the reason behind the season. Whether you're financially frustrated, whether you're sexually frustrated, whatever it is you got going on, may you understand the season you're in. And may you understand the reason why you're in that season. You'll never graduate from this class. You'll never graduate from this season if you don't never get to a place where you can understand the reason for the season. If you never get to a place where you understand why the fuck you keep going through this, you'll never be able to graduate. You'll never get promoted. You'll never move beyond this point in life. This season will turn into a lifetime. Don't allow this season, what's meant to be just a season, to be a lifetime thing. Man, I hope and pray that I said something to encourage you, to inspire you, to even challenge your way of thinking. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for rocking out with me. Happy healing. Peace.